What is going on, Stallions? Welcome to the Gamer Heaven, where we focus on the past, present, and future of gaming. Today I'm going to give you guys a walkthrough or tutorial on Alienware Control Center, or ACC, which I have to say is a pretty impressive piece of software baked into Alienware PCs, such as my R11 over here. Let's get it. Alrighty guys, sharing my screen over here, I have Alienware Control Center popped up, or ACC. The first thing you want to do is update this to its latest version. It should automatically prompt you to do such, but if it does not, just go ahead and manually do that. Then you want to come over here to your settings, which are these little slider icon, I guess you could say. And you can set up a theme color in here. This is all just cosmetic. But however, if you are colorblind or something, this might help you to see, this might help you to get a little bit better visibility. I leave it on auto manage because it'll actually change colors depending on temperatures and overclocks and stuff like that. So I leave that at auto managed. Now particle effects, this is this effect down here. This is all personal preference. I was going to say if you have a low spec PC that you can turn this off, but that doesn't really make sense considering even the lowest end Alienware PC is not a low spec PC, and most of the people that I talk to in my community that are dropping comments in the section below are saying that they're ordering like pretty much high-end R11 and R12s with like 3090s and water-cooled i7s and i9. So you can definitely run these particle effects here with no problem. So this is more of just your personal preference. There's the smoke effect, the galaxy nebula looking effect, and then the default, which is waveform. Or if that doesn't tickle your fancy or stimulate you in the nether regions, you can turn that off as well. I kind of like the galaxy. I feel like I'm going to get sucked deep into a black hole. So diagnostic data, I would turn this off. Basically, this just every time the app crashes, which I haven't experienced, but if it does or has any issues, it will send automatic information to Alienware. I try not to share my personal usage information, not that I'm doing anything nefarious or illegal, just because they don't need that information. Alienware Effects API, you want to leave this enabled. Basically, what this lets your application do, and it is a really cool feature, is you can set up different themes for different games. For example, if I launch Cyberpunk, I can have a specific overclock for that game. Not to mention, I can have the lighting effect on my PC change to be teal and yellow, which are the theme colors of Cyberpunk, which is kind of cool. So leave that enabled. Auto profile, same thing, but instead of the effect lighting, this is for your settings down here, such as thermals, which is basically your fan curves and whatnot, and then also how much power draw or power consumption you're going to get out of that 1000 watts power supply. Well, at least I have a 1000 watt in mine, but and then same thing with your audio preferences. You can set equalizers, and you can set these all up for different games. So when you launch it, ACC realizes, okay, this game is launched, and it will adjust these settings for you. So go ahead and leave that enabled, auto profile. And then choose auto profile default. I like mine in performance and high performance. I don't really care about power consumption, as I don't think it makes that big of a difference anyway. Same thing with thermals. I would like to get the best cooling out of my PC at the sacrifice of maybe hearing a little bit more fan noise. I'd like maximum cooling if possible. And if you have any issues or you want to submit a trouble ticket, go to here to feedback and you can send them a message. Now there is a light theme. As I scorch my corneas, why in God's sweet green earth would you ever run a light theme? If there is a dark theme available, I would recommend running it for two reasons. One, it just looks badass, and two, and it's also less strain on your monitor as it doesn't have to illuminate as many pixels. That is true. That is true. I'm not just blowing smoke up your rectums or anything like that. And then over here at this little question mark icon, if you click on that, it'll pop up the help forum where you can get a little bit of information. Or you can just watch a YouTube tutorial like this and you're good to go. So on the home page over here, basically it takes a little bit of library effects and fusion and puts them into panels here that you can quickly activate and deactivate things. So as you see, I have no theme applied right now. If you wanted to select one, you could come down here. You can actually browse themes. You can select different themes here. Go dim will turn your lights down, and then go light will turn them bright again. So if you're playing in a dark room and for some reason the RGB LED lights on the front of your tower are disorienting to you, you can go dim or hit go dark. It'll turn them off completely. Browse themes will just literally take you over here to the FX tab, and you are able to select different profiles that you have here. I currently only have one, but we will create a new FX theme in this video. So this is all just for your lighting over here. If you press this little pencil icon, it will take you to the FX tab where you can create a new theme. Now over here, it will give you a warning when you click on this overclock tab telling you, altering the clock frequencies can lead to damage, blah, 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 blah. Basically, they have to give you a warning that if you overclock incorrectly and you are having, under voltage, over voltage, you're causing yourself some heat or thermal issues, you're going to damage your PC. They have to give you a disclaimer like that. Now, I have to say, I was very, very, very impressed that a pre-built company gives you this kind of controllability to where you can easily overclock your CPU, GPU, and RAM in an application. I didn't expect a pre-built company would kind of implore you or allow you to overclock your pre-built PC. I was under the notion they would be like, no, we don't want you to do that to our hardware. They don't really give a shit. So right now I have gaming 5 gigahertz, which is pretty much the profile that I run 24/7. I did make a profile here for mining, which makes some adjustments to my GPU. We'll look over all these in a little bit here. And then overclock off basically defaults everything to its stock clocks. Now, this does come with 3 modes. Overclock off, which like I said is everything stock or default. Overclock 1, which is a little bit aggressive. And then overclock 2, which is a little bit more moderate or conservative CPU overclock. Now, I am water-cooled on my CPU. If you are not, if you're air-cooled, I highly recommend going water-cooled by buying the AIO from Dell or Alienware and just installing that yourself, because you will drop your temps about 15 to 20 degrees Celsius and cut down on some fan noise as well. Now, over here in thermals, I leave that in performance. You have balanced, performance, and that's it. It might look like there's 3 options, but that's only showing what I have selected right now. So you have balanced and performance. I would like mine at performance. It changes the fan curves a little bit to basically kick in whenever there is heat detected, and you might have to deal with a little bit more fan noise, but again, you're keeping your components cool. Now, Alienware audio, I wish there was a way to uninstall this, as I'm never going to mess with this. Basically, it's a equalizer that will modify the audio output to whatever device you're running. Headset, speakers, soundbar, surround, whatever you're running in your rig on your PC, this will make adjustments to the equalizer. I leave it on Alienware, which is the default, which I'm assuming is a flat equalizer curve, which is what I want. Power over here, I leave it at high performance. Now over here, if I do have custom themes set up, which you can create down here, you will be able to select them right here, and they will have different settings for all of these right here, specific to the game, which is really cool. And that also includes lighting effects. Like I explained, for other games, you can get like a cyberpunk theme one, or, you know, red, white, and blue for some kind of military shooter, something like that. So you can add games over here, and that will take you over here to your library placard. Now, I do have several more games on my PC than this here. However, this is all that it's recognizing currently. But if you want to add more games to this, what you can do is go to manual over here, and it'll scan your system, or you can click browse down here, and you can literally go manually find the file path. So if you have something stashed, folders and folders in your PC, you can find it that way, or you can just select it from installed programs on your PC like that. And that will add these little placards here. And again, once you select the game, you are able to create a new effects theme, which is really cool. So if I want this to be on balanced thermals, balanced power consumption mode, I want it to have a specific preset for the audio, and I want the lights to do something, you can do that all from here. It tells you what genre the game is, who the developer is, when it was dropped, and how much time you've played. Trust me, I've played more than 0 hours on Apex Legends. It just hasn't recognized it. Now over here in effects, this is where you're going to set up your lighting, and I have to say, one of the things that I listed as the 5 things I love about this Alienware PC during that video, that will be linked in the description below, is the lighting effects. I think they did a phenomenal job, because not only does the inside of this jet turbine looking thing over here look absolutely sick, but you have 4 independently controllable zones, and it is the true RGB spectrum of 16.9 million colors, so you can actually drag the color wheel around and it will adjust in real time on your desk. You'll be able to see you scrolling through the entire color spectrum, which is really cool. So we're gonna go ahead and create a new theme right now. And you go over here to create new theme, hit the little plus icon. We are going to call this Cyberpunk. Can't type for shit, but we're going to call this Cyberpunk. And for choose game, we're going to select Cyberpunk, and we're going to hit OK. This is the side of the PC. These Alienware lights illuminate, and then on the front, you have 3 lighting zones here, which I'm going to show you right now. So we're going to select all zones for now. And we are going to go with this kind of teal color here, which is the static default blue, which sure enough is a cyberpunk color, but we're going to go a little bit more teal. So you do have pulse over here, which I'm recording some B-roll right now. It flashes very, very fast, very disorienting, and doesn't look very good to my corneas at all, boys. Then you have morph, which basically will blend between 2 different colors, kind of fades from one into the other, but then it doesn't fade into the next color. It'll snap to the first color, then fade to the second. I'm not a huge fan of that. I at all. Color is a static single color, which is what we're going to choose in a minute. Breathing, obviously, is pulsating in and out, or fading in and out, if you will. And then spectrum rotates through the entire RGB spectrum. I'm going to go ahead and crank brightness at 100%, as these don't get super bright, and I like to have them at 100% because my room is generally pretty well lit. Now, so duration. Low makes the effect flash faster, and then high basically stays on a single color for longer, thus making it a slower effect. But I have to say, it's still very, very fast. You'll see from the B-roll that I'm playing, it fades through the spectrum really quickly. I would like high to be a lot slower. But anyway, we're going to go ahead and choose color over here. And we are going to start as a base color with this blue over here, but we're going to drag it over here to this kind of cyberpunk teal color over here. But I would like this front ring right here to be a different color. I would like that yellow, as we're doing a cyberpunk theme here. Go ahead and hit Save Theme. And it has now been saved. It's that simple. Now if we come over here to the home, browse themes, got cyberpunk right here, and if you hit this little checkmark box, which pieces of this theme do you want to make active? Well, we haven't set up any macros or settings, just the lighting. So hit activate, and now you will see, that we have cyberpunk active, and sure enough, that's what my PC is showing. So now over here in Fusion, this has got to be one of the coolest tabs in here, because basically this forgoes the need to install MSI Afterburner, which is usually the program that I recommend for underclocking and overclocking CPUs, GPUs, and RAM, so all the components of your PC. So this is actually quite in-depth and very, very easy to use. So the stock 2 profiles that they have are right here, and you cannot delete them. They are on here indefinitely, which is fine. So like I said, Overclock 1 is pretty aggressive. So this Intel 10th generation i7 aka Comet Lake, not to be confused with Tiger Lake, which is the new upcoming 11th generation, can be overclocked to 5.1 gigahertz, but that's really aggressive. So we're going to go, so right here, Overclock 2 is a little bit more conservative at 5 gigahertz with a voltage of about 1.22 volts over here. You can also set a voltage offset, which is pretty cool. Or you can set auto managed over here, and basically that will try and read your thermals and your voltage and adjust on the fly. But if you want to set a very specific manual setting, you can do that through here as well. Yes, I would like to discard. As you can see, my usage, my CPU usage is at about 15 to 20% right now. That is because I am screen recording at 1080p, 60 frames per second in Streamlabs OBS, and I also have a software program blurring my background for a little cinematic pop, if you will, boys. And then you also have my temperature. If you click on it, it will switch between Fahrenheit and Celsius. That is a completely acceptable range for a CPU to be in. Under load, this generally gets, during AAA gaming titles, probably about 68 to 70 Celsius. Now, under a benchmark, it will get up into the 80s, and then it'll fizzle and it'll drop back down and settle down again. Now, if you want to quickly disable or enable any of these properties here, whether it's your CPU, your GPU, or your RAM, you just want one turned on, you can either do it from here or over here from the home menu. If you go to the overclock, again, say I have my mining one selected and all I want overclocked is my GPU, because that's what I'm mining with. I can turn CPU and memory, or RAM, off, which is pretty damned cool. So back over here at Fusion, this is my 3080, which is chilling at 1890 megahertz right now. Core temperature of 61 degrees Celsius. So if you click this here, it'll link up your power limit percentage as well as your thermal limit when your card will start throttling back to lower its heat so it doesn't cause damage. If you unlink that, you will be able to independently adjust these. And then whenever you make any settings, you're going to hit test and save. It's going to run a benchmark in this program here to make sure you're stable when it comes to thermals and voltage. And then if you are, it'll save the profile for you, which is pretty sweet. So over here, you have a ton of settings as well for your RAM, or random access memory. And I have relatively slow memory in here. Yep, 2399 megahertz, which is pretty darn slow. However, I do run these overclocked at 2926, and they have no issues overheating. I've experienced zero stutters or crashing or anything like that. 2926 is still pretty slow. On my last PC, which granted that was an AMD Ryzen CPU, which liked fast RAM compared to Intel, they actually get more benefit, or yeah, more benefit from fast RAM. That was overclocked to 3888 on the RAM. Yeah, 48 gigabyte sticks. Jesus Christ, just swallowed a fat load of phlegm. We're not done yet, boys. This is just the first tab over here, which is overclock profiles. Down here, you have thermal profiles. So you can actually adjust your speed of your top fans. You can see a history, a graph, if you will, of your historical temperatures. And basically, you can set your fan curves over here, which is absolutely awesome. Yes, I would like to discard my changes. And you can do this for the front fan, as there is only one intake fan on the R10, R11, and R12. It is a 120 millimeter intake fan. We are going to be installing a second intake fan on this channel in the very near future by removing the mechanical hard drive in the front and putting a fan in there. And then the top fan is the exhaust fan. It is also 120 millimeters, and it is on the top of the case, not the back, where heat technically will rise and shoot out of the top like a chimney. So that is nice to dissipate heat. So currently, my top fan is at 45% speed, and my front fan is at 29. As I'm not under heavy load, I'm just recording this video for you guys. And you can set up different profiles here, and again, assign those to a specific game. So if you know a game really heats your system up, you can just set an aggressive fan curve, like a Cypress Hill concert in here. Now over here, this is your power management, which, like I said, by default, you have balanced, high performance, and power saver, but you can set up some additional manual settings over here. You can turn off your display or your monitors. For me, that's 3 monitors. They will all shut off after about 10 minutes of unuse, which I like. You can go lower than that, but for me, a lot of times I'm recording a YouTube video standing over there with my monitors behind me, and as it is, they time out a lot, and you'll see in a lot of my tutorial videos where I'm giving a long speech or tutorial for you guys, my monitors will go dim, which I guess could be a little jarring or take you guys out of the immersion of the video, so maybe I'll change that. And then sleep, this will actually put your PC into a rest or sleep mode. Think of it like what your consoles do. And when it does this, the front Alienware logo, which is actually the power button, will be flashing amber or yellow, and you just press that, and it basically wakes your PC up really quickly. And then Alien Effects, you can actually turn this off, and this will make it to where your effect lights or your RGB turn off. But why would you want to do that? They look so pretty. And then down here, you have your audio profiles. So there is an absolute ton in here. Racing, role-playing, shooting. I just leave it on Alienware, which is pretty defaulted. As you can see, there's a bass boost, a treble enhancer, voice clarity, that's your mids there to boost up that dialogue range of the human voice spectrum. And then as I adjust the volume wheel on my keyboard over here, or if you were to just come down here to Windows and do it that way, as you see, it's also affecting it here. Smart loudness, what this is going to try and do is work as a compressor to where, excuse me, food's coming back up on me. That's always good when you get a second meal out of it. Smart loudness is going to basically take the quiet sounds and the loud sounds and bring them together in the middle. So basically it'll amplify quiet sounds and turn down the loud sounds to where you get a consistent volume. But I don't like that. It takes you out of the immersion. I think, dialogue should be at room volume, and gunshots and explosions should have you jumping out of your chair and pissing your pants. So I leave that off. And then reverb over here kind of gives you a cathedral hall effect. Let's go ahead and leave that off for show. And then you have Alienware 7.1 Virtual Surround. I would recommend leaving this off unless you do indeed have a 7-speaker, 1-subwoofer surround sound setup, or you're running headphones that do support 7.1 surround. Other than that, if you're running stereo headphones or 2 speakers, please leave this off. It will actually cause more harm to your audio quality than anything. And of course, if you want to create a custom profile for a specific game, you can do that here. Just name it the name of the game and add that to the theme of that game. And again, you'll have a custom audio profile. All right, so now we have probably one of the most interesting features of ACC, and that is called Audio Recon. Now, this basically puts an overlay into your game, a little mini-map, a circle, if you will, that will show you where audio is coming from. So if you're playing an online multiplayer, granted, you can probably pinpoint, okay, footsteps over there, gunshots over there, but it'll also give you a visual indication through like a pulsating blue light as to where the audio is coming from. A lot of people in the community are saying this is actually cheating. I don't really have an opinion on it either way. I mean, yes, I could see your argument that it is cheating because it's giving you a visual depiction? That's not a real word, is it? Dictation? Depiction. Thank you. It's giving you a depiction of where the audio is coming from. But I can also see people saying it's not a cheat. It's just an overlay that is built into Alienware PCs, and it shows you where the audio is coming from. I don't know. I don't really care. I don't use it. I prefer to just have a natural, organic experience. If I can't pinpoint where the audio is coming from, I deserve to fetch a hot 9 to the dome. So that's how I feel about it. And you can set up different profiles. So if you only want to run this in a certain game, you can. So there's a lot to cover. I know this was kind of a long video, but ACC is a pretty awesome software program, and it's baked into all Alienware PCs. And at first, I was going down the list, basically uninstalling all of what I like to call bloatware or unnecessary programs. And as somebody that's used to custom built PCs, going to a pre-built, I was like, okay, Mobile Connect for my cell phone. Never going to use that. The Alienware store. Probably not going to use that. Just uninstalling stuff. And then I launched this and I was like, this is awesome. This is like MSI mixed with a launcher like Steam or NVIDIA GeForce Experience, mixed with an audio tool suite, mixed with your lighting solution. Like, this is just a good program overall. It really, really is. If this video was beneficial for you guys, it helped you to set up ACC or to better understand all of the features that it packs in and how to adjust them, liking the video helps it to get seen by more people so this information can reach and help them as well, which in turn does help me to grow my little channel, which I do greatly, greatly appreciate, guys. Subscribe for more content like this. I do a lot of tutorials helping you get set up streaming and YouTubing, as well as a lot of news in the gaming community and industry. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.